everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to look at the green Gotenks archetype. I know I'm kind of like weirdly late for the anniversary box, but also like early for set 11, and I rarely do deck lists this early, but I'm so excited for this, this archetype to be relevant again, or at least people trying it, because I know like Union was like, people tried it when the expansion set for these cards came out with these 3-drops right here, but it never really worked out. I really tried it and it never really clicked. So I'm excited for to get all the support and see if it can finally work. And so I do, since it's so early, there's not all the cards that, especially the ones that were released today. They weren't put into any of the online deck builders right now, but I do have this list. It will be in the description. You just have the proxies of these Gotenks. This becomes the new leader. These 3-drops become the new 3-drops, and this Bardock becomes the new Unison, and I guess this 6-drop becomes the new 5-drop Union as well. So those are like the quick changes on that. But let's talk about the deck. So if you don't know what this card does, it's kind of like the expansion set where we had like the Topo and the Vegeta. The front side's pretty lackluster in just the fact that it doesn't do much, but you're able to awaken really early, which is nice. So auto when this card attacks, draw 1, and then when your life is at 4 or less, if you have a green Unison card and play with specified at any cost of 2, you may draw 1 card, switch one of your energy to active mode, add 1 card from your life to your hand, and then until you have, add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left, and then flip this card over. So like literally verbatim on the front side, a carbon copy, and already like this is better than like the other green Gotenks leader. Just the fact that it gains value and is kind of like the modern idea of what a leader should be in terms of value. This leader's already really good. Like not having to like the weird thing about this archetype is that you keep adding cards to your hand, and so it's almost always you have a bigger hand size than your opponent. So it was hard to like actually have a smaller hand than your opponent to get the old Gotenks leader off. So that's the back side or front side. So on the Awakened side, your opponent's leader can't attack your battle cards, which is a really interesting permanent. For a lot of ways, I think you can abuse that in some ways, which we'll talk about later. Like there's one, I'll just say it. There are a lot of like mini like kind of things that like things work together, and I think there's a lot of different lines of plays. It's like really customizable, which is why I'm really cool. I think it's really cool and really exciting. So that's part of it. Once again, when you draw swing, you draw 1. And then activate once per turn. For 1 green, you can choose one of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. Or you may choose 1 green card in your hand, discard it, and if you do, play 2 green tokens in rest mode. Or 2 ghost tokens in rest mode. So they're just like vanilla 15Ks, and they don't have combo power either. So I have no doubt there are going to be some cards that maybe interact with ghost tokens that are coming out, but even without them, I think that's fine. Just being able for like 1 energy, you get 2 15Ks out for later. And tokens are like, I keep saying this, tokens are weirdly better than battle cards in this game, unlike any other game that I talk about, and strictly because they're harder to remove, right? It's unless they like you have a card that says up to an energy cost, which they exist, but they're kind of like they're really specific for that, right? So if you have something that says KO something with 5 or less energy, tokens are free for that. So I think tokens they're really weird in this game, but I think it's great for that. Your tokens, I guess there's going to be a reason why they're in rest mode. I think it'd be better if you just pay 1 and you just get 1 ghost token in active mode. That might be better, but we'll see what comes out next. Next up, we've got so we're talking about the Unison. So we need some 2-drop Unisons to awaken kind of early, and so I chose the new one, of course, just because I want to try it out. But this has a lot of synergy for this deck. When you activate a Union skill, you draw 1, which is fantastic. Assumedly, anytime past turn 2, you're just going to Union once per turn. So being able to just get extra card draw for doing so feels really good. It has this +2 active main. Choose all of your mono green battle cards and gain revenge until the start of your next turn. That is also a really good effect. And just the fact that this is a 15K that will have 4 tokens on it as soon as you play it is fantastic. Your opponent will have to try to swing into this and invest a lot of resources on this guy early, and so that just makes him really strong. He also has this -7 active main. If your leader card is mono green, look at your opponent's life, place 1 card among them into your drop area, and into their drop area. Then your opponent shuffles their life, choose 3 cards in their hand, and discards them. That's just like a crazy effect, right? I mean, it's -7, right? So you have to really ramp up for it. But just being able to like crit, it's better than critting a life, right? You crit a life and you know exactly what card you get, and then go like take 3 cards out of their hand. Like that's crazy. This is like a game winner effect in a lot of ways. So he's really cool. I really like this effect. And who knows if you'll ever get to -7, but like it will make your opponent say, well, I gotta kind of get rid of this. Like it'll pressure your opponent to say, hey, I know you want to hit into my face, but if you only do that, then I can just like decimate you with value off this guy. So I really like that. And then for their other Unison, I decided that we wanted to go with Golden Frieza. And I just chose Golden Frieza only for its -2 effect. So it has this -2 until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one of their battle cards at any cost of 2 or more and place it in their owner's drop area. So there's like some weird stuff like with this one giving your opponent's leader card can't attack your battle cards, and this guy giving all your green cards revenge. I feel like this is like a weird like pseudo thing. Like if you give this -2 to things, like both these kind of things make it like not really easy to get rid of your own battle cards by at least attacks, or like it doesn't make it worth it. So like being able to do this -2 and like continue to stall on things, I think is a cool effect. So I just put it in there. Maybe it's bad. Maybe you only need 4 Unisons to begin with. But that's the one I decided to go for. So that also means we're running 4 Dormant Legends and 4 Friezas, because why not? We just get so much value off them. And so let's actually get into the meat and potatoes. So we're running the Union Fusion with Gotenks in it. So we have 4 of the Gokuel, because this is a very, very good card for the archetype. You always want to see this turn 1. And it's like the turn 1, 2, 3 is turn 1, you play this, you get one of your 6 drops or 5 drops into your hand. And then after that, turn 2, you play one of your 2-drop Unisons. You awaken, so you untap 1, draw 1. And then you use its active main for 1 green to get 2 more cards in your hand. So one Goten and 1 Trunks into your hand. And then turn 3, you're set to really go off and play some Union Fusions and kind of disrupt your opponent with that. So that's like the beginning like ideas for this deck. Pretty simple, but I think it's effective, especially since it's so flexible. There's so many different things you can do and so many lines of play just with all these cards. And it's consistent, right? Because you get to see all your cards. So for the Trunks and Gotens, I decided to choose the anniversary box one. Not for its first active main. This one's kind of okay. It's I mean, if you need to, you don't even really need to awaken with it, right? The real reason we want to play it though is for this active main, the second one. So if your leader card is green, Gotenks card, and you return this card to its owner's hand, you can look at top 5 for a green Gotenks or 1 green Unison card with specified energy cost of 2 among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So if you like need to find a true drop green Unison, you can play this turn 1 to do so, and you don't even have to play like use its green effect to do it. You can use either one of these new 3 drops, which I super love. So they both have this one active main effect of, for 1 green, if your leader card is a green Gotenks and you discard this card from your hand, play or add to your hand up to 1 Trunks youth card with energy cost of 3 from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So for 1 green, you can discard this card from your hand and then just play this card from your deck, and then you can swing with it or whatever, and then you can add it back to your hand with its second active main, and then you can look at the top 5 for either a Unison card or a 2-drop. So it's like literally a free draw in a lot of ways. So you have to pay 1 energy, but in the Trunks does the same thing. So for 1 green, once again, if your leader card is green Gotenks, you can discard this card, play or add 1 green Sun Goten from your deck with any cost of 3, and then shuffle your deck. So you can once again add 1 to your hand or just play it for free and then add it back. So I think both these effects are really, really good in that regard, because you're able to just be really consistent. Like what are you missing in your deck, right? So maybe you don't get to play Goku turn 1, but you're able to find like your Unison to make sure you awaken and everything. So I think it's a good effect, and like this even finds like parts of your engine as well. So there's also, so this one's just a 15k crit, so that's like perfect if you're going second. If you want to put some pressure on, you just play this for 1 energy. You swing with the 15k crit, add it back to your hand, and then you can do some Unison stuff next turn. And then this one is if when this card is discarded from your hand by Unison skill or Union skill, look at the top 7 cards from your deck, add up to 1 green Unison card, specify a cost of 2 among them and to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So like this just continues the value train. So let's say turn 3, you have one of this Vegeta out, right? So you decide to do this 6-drop Union for on turn 3. So for 2 energy, you do a Sun Goten Trunks Youth. If your leader card is green Gotenks, when this card is played, draw 2 cards and then KO up to one of your opponent's battle cards, which is great already. But you get to draw 2 cards for that, and then you get your Vegito effect, so you draw a 3rd card, and then after that you also get your Trunks effect, which means you look up top 7 for another Unison card. So being able to play this and then also go +2 technically is crazy. And when this card is removed from your battle area, you get your Trunks and your Gotens backs as well. So like you keep getting so much value, right? Can you see how much value you just get from that one play, and including being able to just KO one of your opponent's cards? And this is a 25k dual attack, which is great for pressuring your opponent's Unisons that are early in the game. So I think this is a really cool, like that's just, I feel like a really powerful play, and that's why I was so excited for this deck in general. So there is that. We also have this new 5-drop that was, I don't know if this was announced today, but it was announced this week. And it's a Deflect Double Strike. Both these cards have Deflect, which is super nice. You can either EX Evolve for 2 green on top of the 6-drop, or a 3-drop, which we're not running. Or you can do Union Fusion for 3 green specific, and you get to draw 1 card when you do so. So if you use this or this Trunks, and you also have this guy out, like you still draw 2, and like you still get 3 cards, right? So you use 3 cards in your hand, and you get 3 cards back into your hand. So like this card like goes +1. This goes even for just playing it. And then Auto Furier's Kreen, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards, remove 2 markers from it, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Like that's like super big value from there, as long as you're not hitting into like the new the new Broly. Like that looks really scary to remove markers from. But it's a 30k too, like 30k double strike, which is no slouch for being able to just play it on turn 3. And then and so that's like, I don't know, the main core for the deck. I'd say the rest is just kind of minor jank. So I put like 4 of these Deadly Defender Android 18s, and 3 of these rebrand. These rebrands are essentially Deadly Defenders in their own way, but you're able to just play these, and then if you have like your Vegito effect, these things have Revenge, and then also your opponent's leader can't swing into them, and they also have Barrier. So like this is just like really annoying for your opponent to deal with, which is nice. And so just that idea in general. So this would be like on turn 4 or something. If you got nothing better to do, you can just play this and then swing with it, give it barrier, give it revenge, and then your opponent has to deal with it. And then the same thing with this rebrand. This is like a big turn 5 play. You just play it, blow up all your opponent's cards, and then you're able to gain it back. And then it's also able to just like bring back like an Android 18, or if you need like Trunks or Goten to put back in your hand for later. Like these are just really, I guess it'd just be this one, but like just being able to play more cards from this dying is fantastic. So it's 30k, it has like Revenge, and then your opponent's leader can't swing into it even. So they're at least like losing 1 card to get rid of this card. It just seems really strong in my opinion. There might be ways around it, but I guess the big way around it is because Unisons, right? So not only can Unisons swing into these Deadly Defenders and not die to Revenge, but additionally, they if your opponent needs to swing into something, you can still swing into the Unison cards, right? So it's not like they're ever like truly locked out of places to swing. But I think it's so strong, and it's still something I've been experimenting with, and it's been fun so far. Super combo with Vegeta, just because it's good. If you want to run like a Paragus super combo, I think he's fine too. This is just, I felt like this deck might have like a lot of like awkward turns where you might have like 1 extra energy open. So like these Vegetas can just capitalize on that. And then Grade 8 Massane, just because we have a mono green leader and it's there. If you don't have this card, don't worry about it. This is just a flex in a lot of ways. So, but we're also running only green. So if you want to use like the new Gogeta Secret Rare too, that would also work. But I think that's really it. So here's the deck. I'll try to update this when the cards get into the system. But I think this is really cool. I think also these 2 cards are viable as well. These might be in the side deck, but both of these are pretty good too, especially since you can play them for 1 energy with either of the new cards. So if this one just, when this card attacks, look at the top 7 cards from your deck to choose 1 Trunks Youth. So if you only have Trunks in your hand, then you can use 1 green energy, play this Sun Goten, swing, try to find another Trunks, and then you can return it to your hand, and then you have Sun Goten and Trunks, so you can do a fusion. And then we've got Unified Spirit Trunks. So same thing, you can always just activate and return it to your hand, but when this card attacks, you reveal 1 Sun Goten from your hand. If you do so, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards at any cost of 3 or less and KO it. So not as useful, I think. I think this 3-drop's better, but I think they're both useful just because they can be played off this guy. Here's the deck. I'm really excited with it. There's no doubt some more cards to be released that can support this, and maybe there's some fun stuff you can do with the ghost tokens, everything. But already, I think this is a really solid deck, and I really like it. So let me know what you guys think about it, and I'll catch you all next time.